What's up guys, Houndish here, and today it's time for some Destiny 2 news, updates, and more. So we're gonna jump in, talk about Solstice, of course the new event is live, we'll cover a secret reward key, and a hidden area in the aerial zone. It looks like there's going to be a surprise in store there. We'll cover the July update, missing reward packages, removed items, Bungie confirms some changes, tease a new Shadowkeep title screen, and we'll touch on some wild Galahorn speculation, as well as a bunch of other news stuff and roundups in the video. So if you guys enjoyed this one, a rating really helps me out, but otherwise let's get into it. So initially, Solstice of Heroes for 2019 is now live. Of course, we got a patch yesterday, and we'll cover a couple of patch notes from that in just a moment, but the new armor is obtainable, we've got the aerial zone, some pretty cool secrets there. However, a lot of folks were asking about some of the exclusive emblems to commemorate the broken exotics that we've seen over the past couple of years. So we're supposed to be getting the Lord of Wolves and Prometheus Lens emblem, of course if we're eligible. Bungie had said that they'd arrive on reset, but DMG updated, we are planning to distribute the Wolves Unleashed and Prismatic Inferno emblems to qualifying players by the end of the week. And there are a couple of new Lost History packages in the database, so I'll keep you posted on if those are deployed, but be sure to keep your eyes on your postmaster if you're expecting those emblems. They should be with us inside of this week. Now, Bungie help tweeted and said effective immediately to mitigate further impact of an issue where the Solstice key fragment magnets are not increasing the rate of Solstice key fragment drops, we are making this item unavailable for purchase from Eververse. They also followed up and said that for now, players should be sure not to use one of these magnets. Yeah, they're not working. And we'll round up a few more patch notes and updates in a moment, but here we have something pretty interesting in the European aerial zone, and it comes in the form of a secret area. There's also a classified item that may link to this, so initially, when you spawn into the aerial zone, from the landing zone itself, if you head down to the left, you can drop down the cliffs and you'll see that there's a tunnel off in the distance. So it's this kind of drain beneath the aerial zone. However, if you glitch into it using a sparrow, so park your sparrow alongside the grating and then jump off the sparrow, you should be able to get in and you'll see that there is one of the Dreaming City cat statues in here. And so the fact that there is actually stuff hidden in here is pretty curious. We've got no real idea what it's going to be right now, and you may have heard folks talk about this, but in the database, I actually found a secret classified key. So if you look at the UI icon, it's a Solstice key, but instead of being a key fragment like the ones that we can get at the moment, it's a completed key. We don't know the name of it or what it actually does, and it's worth mentioning that players have fully unlocked the legendary armor set, so perhaps it isn't tied to that and is more of a time-gated or otherwise secret thing, but it's quite possible that this could be linked to the hidden area that we see in the zone. But yeah, you can't interact with the cat statue or anything at the moment, but this hidden area will almost 100% be used for something. However, if it's for an exotic or a reward in the game, currently there is no info on what that could be, and it doesn't appear that there is anything kind of unexpected in the game files. So for now, there is no Galahorn hidden in D2, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the classified key, the secret area, and also, you know, sometimes Bungie like to tease us with ghost projections. There is a buried treasure projection, so could that be a tease to this hidden area beneath the aerial zone? I guess it's possible, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about it down below. There is a pretty cool unique boss in Aerial Zone though, and that is Erebassin Broodlost. I'm probably butchering that name, but could this be a preview of enemies in Shadowkeep? It does appear that she kind of has a nightmare, or a projection version of herself, very similar to some of the Shadowkeep enemies that we've seen. Pretty neat boss, and when she summons her attack to break it, you need to do a bunch of damage to her real quick, otherwise she kind of sends out this wave of fire and absolutely nukes the fire team. Just something I wanted to mention that I didn't touch on in my video yesterday, but if you want any other tips for upgrading the armor, getting key fragments quickly, or the activity, I will link my Solstice guide down below. Now though, let's touch on a few patch notes here. So we didn't really get too many things that we weren't expecting to see in the update. They did nerf the Lord of Wolves. They also fixed an issue that allowed the Feeding Frenzy perk to be applied to any weapon. Of course, they've updated the Iron Banner quest for this season, and I spoke about the fact that we would get at least one more Iron Banner this season, but DMG did confirm that they have more Iron Banners, plural, lined up for Opulence, so we are going to get at least 2 before Shadowkeep launches, and that's going to give you more opportunities to earn the armor. Could also potentially be linked to things like Solar Week if that's actually going to be a thing. Bungie also modified the Truth quest and replaced the step that requires the bounty core set down with one that requires the completion of 3 patrols, so that should definitely be fairly useful. Otherwise, I'll link the full patch notes down below. But for a few more insights and updates from Bungie, DMG pretty much confirmed that we will get a new title screen for Shadowkeep. So we replied on a post that said I can't wait for the new title screen and theme song, and he replied, never forget Warmind. So I guess it makes sense, but just something else to expect in September, an update to the title screen, and hopefully some cool new Orbit music and stuff like that. On the subject of Solstice armor and the glows, which are very expensive by the way, you do have to spend either 800 silver or 5,000 bright dust to get a full set of glows. That's a particular element. I totally agree that it's pretty expensive, but a big question is whether the armor glows will work on the armor 2.0 versions that we get later on, and DMG did confirm that that's the case. So if you unlock the armor and you put ornaments on it, the ornaments should still be there or still be available for the 2.0 version later on. Quick shout here, but it looks like we could possibly be seeing some adjustments to certain supers in the game. Somebody was complaining about the bottom tree striker, and of course you can pull off some very lengthy supers with that. And DMG said that the team is aware of some of the requests around that balancing, and once they have more information, they'll let us know. So we can stay tuned for that. Of course, we're likely to see sandbox balancing in Shadowkeep, but also, there is a new Bungie Reward where you can get the original Forsaken soundtrack. This is the digital version of the soundtrack, but if you complete the intro quest for Solstice of Heroes this year, you can unlock a code to get the soundtrack via Bungie Rewards. So if that sounds interesting, I will link it down below. Now, to get back to speculation, potential secrets and things like that, there's been a lot of conversation about Solar Week, and a lot of speculation about exotic rocket launchers coming back. And Galahorn has been included in that, and this really stems back to the original Solar Week leak. There is some data in the text files for the game that suggests in future we could see a Solar Week, and of course it references Lord Saladin, so especially with us having more than one Iron Banner remaining this season, it's totally possible that we're going to get Solar Week for one of them, but of course it isn't confirmed by Bungie just yet. There are also additional text strings in the game though that reference rocket launcher components and pieces of a greater whole, and then we've got hidden perk names, things like Dark Age Tactics and even Frenzied Rage, and so players are really wondering whether we could see another exotic in the game. And with the rocket launcher link and Solar Week, people are talking about Galahorn, which interestingly, if it is going to be linked to Iron Banner and Lord Saladin, of course he did send us off to reclaim Galahorn back in Rise of Iron, and so there is a definite link there. But in terms of substantiating what we're seeing, currently we can't see a weapon in the database, and often we can when we're going to get something, right? Even with Bad Juju, in the game files we saw the catalyst icon. That was at the start of the season. So maybe Bungie are delaying data until a future update. They have been getting a little bit better at kind of concealing some of the stuff in the database and planning the updates out in a way that means we don't expect these things to come. That happened with Outbreak Perfected. But if Bungie don't bring something in a future update, then really it means more than likely this isn't gonna be a thing. Something else to bear in mind is that rocket launcher components and pieces of a greater whole could refer to the truth quest that we've already seen. We had to go and collect pieces of the map for the quest, so that could easily reference pieces of a greater whole, right? And they could be scrapped parts of the truth quest. But the reality, when it comes to Solar Week, but especially Galahorn or Dragon's Breath, is that it is pure speculation. Once again, with Saladin being the rally for Solar Week, an exotic quest or something like that isn't completely insane. Maybe Dark Age Tactics could be the name of an exotic perk if it was a completely different or unexpected weapon. And it does sound like there is a kind of Iron Lord link there, but otherwise we have very little to go by outside of speculation. And that's why I wanted to kind of clear that up. A lot of the time if I know that we're going to get something, I'll happily talk about it with you guys. This time around, however, while I have spoken about it, I think we should definitely contain our expectation for another exotic quest this season. But more importantly, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think we could realistically be getting another exotic quest? And I'd be curious to see any thoughts on Galahorn or Dragon's Breath as well. Couple of final things for the video right here, but JP Deathblade shared the future Eververse inventory roadmap for the season. This is over on Reddit, so you can see the bulk of the items. Some of them are hidden or classified since they are Solstice awards, and we don't always know exactly how much items will cost, but if you want to see when certain items may potentially be featured in the rest of this season, I'll link that Reddit thread down below. Another curious thing right here, Stallions on Raid Secrets actually managed to find the area where the Aldrin cutscene takes place, but inside of the game. Of course, in the cutscene, the graphics are a little bit different to what you'd see in the actual Dreaming City, but it turns out that this is a kind of out-of-map area. So just thought it was pretty cool, and I'll link the thread down below if you want to go check it out. Also interesting, but Fallout made a video a few days ago, and it discovered that barrel length, the physical barrel length of a weapon in the game, including ornaments that affect that, can actually change the range on a weapon. So even a blue shotgun will benefit from having a physically longer barrel in the game. But then testing with Chaperone, once they equipped the Panama Ravine ornament, it actually increased the range of the weapon ever so slightly. This isn't in the stats on the weapon, you can't see it. It's more of a literal kind of physical effect that's built into the game. And in theory, it does kind of make sense, right? But yeah, just thought I'd shout that out. I'll link an article covering that as well as Fallout's video down below. But for today, guys, that is everything we have to talk about in this video. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the secret area in the aerial zone. Of course, separate to the speculation about Galahorn and all of that kind of stuff, the classified Solstice key and that secret area almost certainly are going to be a thing. We just don't know what it is. So once again, give us your thoughts on that or any of the other updates, patch notes, or Solstice of Heroes itself. But if you've enjoyed the video, a rating really helps me out. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.